I'm curious your take on all these gyrations. I'm reading in the Financial Times that S&P is actually thinking of they have downgraded our debt because the Republicans are acting like they're crazy. I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to. I'm translating all this stuff. On CNBC, you'll hear all these big words. This is it in English, right?
Well, here's where we're at. We are at an extraordinary moment in American history. And what has been interesting in the last week, Tom, is there have been a number of polls that have come out. They've come out from the Washington Post, from McClatchy, the New York Times, and a lot of these questions deal with the budget. And they ask the American people, they say, at a time when we have this huge budget deficit, we have a $1.6 trillion deficit and a $14 trillion national debt, do you think it is appropriate to ask upper-income people who are making $250,000 a year or more, to pay more in taxes? And the numbers are overwhelming. In the Washington Post, ABC News poll, 72% thought that was appropriate. The McClatchy-Maris poll, you had 64%. New York Times poll, you had 72%. Meanwhile, our Republican friends have just passed a budget which not only does not ask the wealthiest people in this country, who are doing phenomenally well, whose effective tax rates have gone way, way down, who now in the top 1% earn more income than the bottom 50%, when the top 400 individuals in this country own more wealth than the bottom 150 million individuals. In the midst of all of that, public sentiment and reality, what our Republican friends in the House of Representatives has done have passed the so-called Ryan budget, which will give $1 trillion in tax breaks, not increases, tax breaks to the wealthiest people in this country, while at the same time converting Medicare into a voucher program, which will mean that seniors will have to pay substantially more for health care. They're proposing major, major cuts in Medicaid, meaning that millions more Americans will lose their health insurance, and major cutbacks in education, environmental protection, and every program of importance for low and moderate income people. So here's what is really interesting. The Republicans are gambling. They're gambling that they can come up with a budget that is in significant opposition to what the American people want, and that they can get away with it because, A, the media will not do a particularly good job reporting what's in their budget, and B, that they will have the right-wing echo chamber behind them, and C, that the Democrats will not be strong and effective in opposing them. It's a big gamble. I'm not sure that they're going to win on this, but that's really what we're at.
And in fact, Paul Ryan almost got shouted down in his own town hall a couple days ago.
Well, I mean, so they are gambling. They have come out with an extreme right-wing budget. The American people are saying we need shared sacrifice. The wealthiest people are going to have to pay more in taxes. And what they are saying, no, quite the contrary. We're going to give huge tax breaks. We're going to lower the tax rate for upper-income people from 35% to 25%. We're going to lower the corporate tax rate from 35% to 25%. And meanwhile, all over this country, you're having people demanding that large, profitable corporations who today pay nothing in taxes and in some cases get rebates from the IRS, including General Electric, ExxonMobil, Bank of America, Chevron, Boeing, Valero, et cetera, major corporations start paying their fair share of taxes. So the Republican gambit here, it's a pretty risky one. It's interesting. They are saying that we don't really give a damn what the American people want. We don't care at all about anything resembling fairness and justice. We're going to push ahead on a budget that represents the needs of the very, very wealthiest people in this country, the very largest corporations, and we think we can get away with it. And the response has got to be that by the tens of millions, the American people are going to say, sorry, you're not going to get away with it. You're not going to decimate programs that are life and death to people. I mean, if you are 50 years of age and you're a low-income worker and you're on Medicaid, what happens when they take that away to you? They take that away from you.
Yeah.
What happens if you are 75 years of age and you're battling cancer or some other illness and you got an $8,000 voucher plan, which is virtually nothing for, a serious illness.
Yeah.
And that's where we are.
Yeah, and it's really quite amazing. So many of these Republicans now are using Gabby Giffords as an excuse to do what Karl Rove did when he came to give a speech in Oregon back when I was living and working there, and I actually signed up on their website to attend. Paid my $100 to be at a fundraiser, Karl Rove fundraiser. And they called me back and said, you can't come because we know you're a liberal. And honest to goodness, and with the eventual compromise of this, because I hassled them on the air about it, was they created a press area in the very back, and I had to stand behind a rope. But the bottom line is that what they're doing is they're doing these invitation-only town halls. Now, I've been at yours. Anybody can come in.
Right.
You welcome people. But some of these conservative members of Congress now are doing invitation-only so that they know that they're not going to get a crazy with a gun. And they've got security. And you hear even in I've seen some of the video from these where they say, we're all Republicans in the room here. And yet still these guys are getting shouted down and yelled at by their constituents.
Well, here's something amazing. There was a piece that came out that I saw in one of these polls that Tea Party members, by very strong numbers, don't want to see Medicare decimated.
Right. A year ago, they wanted to get rid of big government. Now they're going, whoops.
So where we're at, Tom, is just an extraordinary moment in American history. I think if there's one message that I want to get out to the listeners, it is very, very important that we demand that the Democrats stay tough on this issue. What the next blockade, the next roadblock that's coming down the path will be this, whether or not we raise the debt limit. And what the Republicans are saying is we are not going to vote for that unless you make or set up a procedure for massive cuts. Right. And Democrats are going to have to be very, very firm on this and say, you want to destroy the world's economy, you go for it.
Yeah.
But we're not going to keep caving in.
Yeah, there you go. And let's hope that Nancy Pelosi can hold that caucus together in the House and Harry Reid can do it in the Senate.